Hello drama lovers, welcome back to my channel. Breaking news. For years, the world watched them two men who changed the very meaning of chemistry on screen. Wang Yibo and Xiao Zhan weren't just co-stars, they became an emotion, a memory that never faded. And now, after years of silence, the air around them feels different, charged, alive, and filled with whispers that something between them has finally shifted. Could it be that the bond we all felt was real all along? It all began with a moment. A small, almost invisible moment, one that sent ripples through an entire fandom. When Wang Yibo appeared in that quiet backstage clip, his smile softer, his gaze distant, fans noticed something unusual. Not the usual composure, not the stoic idol charm, but something warmer, more personal, as if he was remembering someone who once stood right beside him. And then came Xiao Zhan's live stream, a brief mention, a half smile, and a few cryptic words that made the world stop. "I still believe that some connections never fade," he said. The chat exploded. Thousands of fans from every corner of the world began connecting the dots, pulling fragments of the past into the present. For years, The Untamed wasn't just a drama, it was a phenomenon. The kind that births legends, not just roles. And at the center of it all stood these two men, one graceful, quiet, and introspective, the other sharp, passionate, and deeply emotional. Together, they created a universe that blurred the line between fiction and reality. But when the cameras stopped rolling, the silence that followed was deafening. Rumors faded, fan theories quieted down, and life moved on. Or so it seemed. Then a sudden coincidence reignited everything. Yibo attended an art exhibit in Seoul. The same week, Xiao Zhan's private photography collection quietly went on display, featuring a mysterious figure, photographed from behind, in a scene that looked eerily familiar to fans. That was the spark. The kind that reignites a story the world thought was long over. And so, whispers became waves. Every word, every image, every small action began to feel like a message, a conversation only they understood. But what if it wasn't just coincidence? What if, all these years, they had simply chosen silence over spectacle, protecting something too delicate for the noise of the world? After The Untamed, both men walked different paths, yet somehow, every road seemed to lead back to each other. Wang Yibo, chasing adrenaline, motorcycles, and music. Xiao Zhan, chasing art, acting, and healing from the storms of fame. But whenever one appeared in public, the other's name wasn't far behind. Fans called it the invisible thread. A connection that time, distance, and silence couldn't erase. There were the interviews, the ones filled with quiet pauses, subtle smiles, and knowing looks. The kind where an unspoken name hangs in the air, just out of reach. When Xiao Zhan was asked about what kind of connection means the most to him, he answered softly, "The kind that doesn't need words." And somewhere across the internet, millions of fans felt the weight of that sentence. Wang Yibo, too, never denied the bond. In one of his rare candid interviews, when asked about the person who changed his way of seeing the world, he simply said, "Sometimes, meeting the right person doesn't happen twice." Simple. Quiet. Yet loud enough to echo through every fan's heart. As years passed, the fandom grew into something beyond ships and hashtags. It became a symbol, a community built on hope, memory, and the belief that real connection, no matter how hidden, always leaves traces. And perhaps, that's what makes the story so powerful. Because it's not about confirming a romance or proving a rumor. It's about feeling something real between two people who once looked at each other not as actors, but as souls that recognized one another. Still, something was about to happen, a moment that would shake the fandom all over again. Then came that night. The night that broke the internet. A charity gala in Shanghai attended by both, for the first time in years. No one expected it. No one even dared to hope. But when Wang Yibo entered, dressed in black and silver, and Xiao Zhan arrived moments later in white, it felt like destiny's silent reunion. The crowd went wild. Flashes erupted, yet amid the chaos, there was one frame, one photograph, that defined the entire evening. As Xiao Zhan was being guided down the red carpet, Yibo turned his head slightly. For just a second, their eyes met. That was all it took. No words. No staged interaction. Just a glance powerful enough to ignite the internet. Within hours, hashtags like their union, Yibo Xiao moment, and their eyes met dominated every platform. And for a world that had waited years for even a hint of connection, it felt like time stood still. Later that night, Yibo posted a photo on his social platform, a single image of the moon over water, captioned only, "Some things return when you least expect them." Minutes later, Xiao Zhan posted too. An image of the same moon from a different angle with the caption, "And some never really left." Fans lost control. Was this planned, a coincidence, or something more? It didn't matter. Because for millions watching, it felt like the quiet confirmation they had been waiting for, not in words, but in art, in symbols, in the kind of shared silence that says more than a confession ever could. Their story, whether friendship, fate, or something far deeper, had found its full circle. Maybe that's what makes Wang Yibo and Xiao Zhan's story so unforgettable. It was never just about romance, or fame, or rumors. It was about connection, raw, human, and beautifully complicated. They reminded us that sometimes, love isn't loud. It's quiet glances across crowded rooms. It's unspoken loyalty that endures when the world turns its back. It's two people walking different roads, yet somehow, always finding their way back again and again. And as the world continues to search for answers, maybe the truth isn't meant to be spoken. Maybe it's meant to be felt. Because whatever name we give it, fate, friendship, or love, their bond has already become something timeless. A story that refuses to fade. If this story touched you the way it touched millions across the world, don't just scroll away.